All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's edition of A Sip of Knowledge with Marty Duffy and just Liz Rhoades this week. Just the two of them. Bryson is getting well right now. He's getting better.
Just the two of us.
Yeah,
Just the two of us.
with recovery, because who knows how this is going to go without him. But I have faith. We do have special guests, Emily Harrison and Meghan Ireland from WhistlePig here today. Your hosts are going to give a more formal introduction to them in just a moment. But before that, as always, I'm Will Hookinga from Savvy.co, and just wanted to point out a few ways that you can interact with each other and send in questions, that kind of thing, throughout the show today. So on your right, you'll see a chat box. Feel free to just give us a hello. Let us know where you're joining from around the world. If you do have a specific question at any point during the show, there's a little button at the bottom of the screen that says Ask a Question. So just click that button or tap that button, enter your question in, and send it in. I'll be keeping an eye out for those throughout the show today. And last but not least, feel free to invite your friends to join us. There's a share button at the top that makes it easy to do that. But with that out of the way, Marty and Liz, I'll turn things over to you now.
Thanks there, Will. You know, little Lou is in the hospital, but you know what? He's doing fine. Actually, he might be out. Probably getting out early. He's not behaving, from what I hear. He's running around. He refuses to tie up the back of his
I knew you were going to say
gown. That. He likes to run around the ward free. He likes
free bird.
That's what he yells. Free! I'm free! Yeah, woo! Where's the? Hey, who wants to see some hot buns? That's what he yells. And then he even asked the nurse. He said, "Hey, you know what? I'm a little overweight. I was just wondering, can you check, see if I'm a diabetic or anything?" She said, "All right, sure." So she gets a little urine sample. She comes back and says, "Well, what's it look like there, nursey?" And she goes, "Well, it does seem like you do have a high glucose level." And he goes, "Oh, well, okay, all right, well, thanks there, nurse." She goes, no problem there, sweet pea." Called him sweet pea because his urine a lot of glucose. All right. So anyways, he'll be back. He'll be back soon. Anyways, this week, I'm Martin Duffy this week. And I am a former senior master whiskey for Diageo, 14 glorious years, followed by 18 not so great months as the national brand ambassador for Benedictine French liqueur, which is a fine liqueur. Those months just weren't all that hot. And then 8 really pretty splendid years as the co-producer of the Chicago Independent Spirit Expo. And then that's been followed by 7.5 years as the sole brand representative of the Glencairn Crystal Glass Company in North America. Oh, look at that. Oh, Liz drinking straight new make right off the still. That's what I like seeing. It's not even 1:30.
Or it's at. Water.
Yeah, or it's yeah, that's what she likes to tell people when she drinks it out of the jug. Lizard?
Awesome, Marty. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Wow. Yeah, I feel like today is going to be interesting on a few different levels. Obviously, we're missing Lou, and so we're both going to have to play Lou in some way. I've been practicing my laugh personally.
I want to see you do a Lou laugh.
But again, yeah, thanks around for joining, which I think is going to be a super special episode of ASOC today. I'm Liz Rhoades, technical distiller and spirit consultant. Have over a decade experience in alcoholic beverage, spanning across several different sites, product, and spirit types, including beer, rum, vodka, RTD, non-alc, CBD, a bunch of different stuff. But my personal favorite and expertise, of course, is in whiskey. That's what we're here to talk about every week, every day, right? I spent most of my career at a tiny little mom and pop shop known as Diageo, but I'm now currently founder and principal at Spirit Safe Consulting. Hey, per normal, if you want to learn a little bit more, you can actually scroll down to the About the Host section. There's a little snazzy little link to my website. So check it out, give it a click. And normally we would pass things on to Lou right now, but
Hey, I got a couple books here. Look, I got books. And if you read in the acknowledgments, you can read about Marty Duffy in them. Marty Duffy and Liz are written in the acknowledgments. I used to write in magazines and stuff, and now I write online.
As always, Lou's an amazing writer. You can purchase his books on Amazon, I believe. We just got word that Lou is actually watching right now, and he says, "Now I'm scared." So, perhaps we should scoot along without Lou. But again,
you gotta scoot along without Lou. There's no Lou to scoot with.
There's no Lou to scoot
Lou-less.
Again, I'm super excited about today's episode. We've got two amazing females here on with us today, Megan and Emily, Team WhistlePig. So it's freezing up here, but we're managing. So for those of you joining, we're talking about WhistlePig today, and of course there's a lot to touch base on. But yeah, maybe we should start with just kind of Emily and Megan, learning a little bit more about you and how you kind of got into the business and what your current roles are.
Yeah, so I can go first. My name's Emily Harrison. I have been at WhistlePig for about 3 years now. I'm the head blender. Sorry, I'm not the head blender. You're the head blender. I'm the head distiller here. Hi, I forgot my name.
It's like Freaky Friday. You just switched.
People do this all the time anyway.
Does happen a lot.
We don't look alike. We just act alike. So it works. No, I'm the head distiller here. My background is in chemical engineering. I went to University of Louisville down in Kentucky for chemical engineering. I graduated in 2016 with my master's. And then I knew immediately that I wanted to start working in whiskey, specifically bourbon, because I was in Kentucky. So I started working at one of the larger distilleries there. And then after, about a year and a half there, I jumped up to Vermont. It was during leaf season. Megan interviewed me and only asked me 2 questions the entire trip. So it was absolutely perfect.
Yep.
And I just moved up, and then the biggest snowstorm of the year hit the day I moved up. So,
we tricked her, brought her here during fall when the leaves are gorgeous.
Yeah, they tricked me. I moved during fall, and now it's like negative 21 degrees with wind chill outside. And, now I'm here. So been here 3 years. It's working out for me. Yeah.
You're hooked. It's too late, right?
Yeah. No, absolutely.
That does not kill you, only, can freeze you to death. So that's all right.
So I'm Meghan Ireland. I am the head blender. I also have a degree in chemical engineering, background in that. Basically, when I was in college, my dad is a fan of Whiskey Advocate and read an article about a woman master distiller who used her chemical engineering degree to do that. And I decided that sounded like a lot more fun than plastics or gasoline. Decided I kind of thought I might want to get into distilling in that world. So post-college, I wanted to get my foot in the alcohol industry. So I worked in hard cider for a couple of years before switching over and coming to WhistlePig to work on the distillation and the whiskey side of things. So yeah, I've been here about 3.5 years, just a little longer than Emily, and we're hooked. Like Liz said, we're ready to go and continue to develop this company and this whiskey and put out new and cool things every year. So yeah, it's the goal.
Now you two have been with the team since 2018?
Yep. Yes. Yeah.
Roughly. So the last 3 years. But the team's still expanding.
Always.
Always,
Still
yeah.
growing.
Yeah.
I understand that you're about to announce you're gonna bring on someone new.
Yeah.
Maybe someone from the show, maybe somebody with lots of experience who used
Yeah,
to work for
I think I see where you're going with
Diageo.
this. It's actually not you. It's
yeah,
Liz.
sorry.
Yeah, I mean, well, Lou's not here, so it's not him, right? Yeah. So,
This girl.
yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Bury the lead. Yeah, and I again, like I prefaced, the show saying that I think today's show is going to be super special, at least for me, because first time special announcement right here on ASOC, as it should be, right, Marnie?
Yeah. Oh yeah. All
yeah.
special announcements.
We're a
come
big
through
damn deal
ASOC.
here. So in addition to my consulting business, I'm very excited to announce that I'm newly enrolled as of last week, Team WhistlePig, as the director of whiskey ops and R&D. And so the team is super awesome. I'm really excited to be joining such an incredible, talented and innovative team who's just really ready and excited to take on the world, one sip at a time. See what I did there? Sip.
Woo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that's sort of the big announcement. And so up here at the distillery today, and we wanted to do a show all together and talk WhistlePig and just spread the word, spread the good word. So
Liz, does that make you? Are you Emily and Megan's boss, or are you guys all on the same plane? Because I imagine Megan and Emily, you guys, one's in distilling, one's in blending, so you guys have your own departments. But does this chick here?
The woman in charge right there.
That's
She is a workmaster too.
Yeah, but I think outside of that, everyone's super close, and we're a team, right? And
Absolutely.
everyone's bringing their own backgrounds and ideas to the table, and we're just working together to kind of expand the horizons of rye and just be super innovative and push the bounds.
That was cool. That was wonderful. Congratulations, little lizard.
Thank you.
We're very proud. Very proud.
Thank you.
I'm like a proud uncle. A proud,
Thank you so
really
much
young
for that.
uncle. I'm getting way too
really
young to
young,
be your father, I think.
And I will say, take it for what it is. This is the first time in ASOC history where there's more females than men.
on the screen, yeah.
On the screen. So,
outnumbered.
Yeah. How does that make you feel, Marty? No.
Oh, I like it. I like it a lot. And how was that at WhistlePig itself? I mean, when I was there, 4 or 5 years ago? I forget how many years ago it was. There wasn't a huge staff there, if I remember. I mean, a lot of there was more office staff than production staff, it seemed, if I remember correctly. Then again, I don't know if they were in full production at the time. But I mean, is there a lot of production staff? And if so, is it predominantly female, or is it a nice mix, or is it not? Or is it just you three?
Yeah, we're running the whole facility. It's fine.
Oh, could be, yeah.
No, we still run a pretty relatively small in terms of employee size here at the farm. I think we're about 25 people that are on the farm every day, so not big, but we do have a really good split of female to male when it comes to this industry here. So it's kind of cool and interesting, right? I've only ever worked from a whiskey perspective here, right? So it's always funny when I go to different conferences, or I don't feel like I'm a minority in this industry. And then I go out into the world and I'm like, oh, I'm the only girl here. All right.
Yeah, and just from my experience, you know, again, like the distillery team, we're pretty diverse, right? And I think the cool thing about it is that we're, you know, zero generation distillers, which means that we're constantly recreating and redefining what, you know, what distilling means and how we're going to show up from a whiskey perspective. So, and I think that's one of the things that's so cool to be on the team, is that we're so innovation driven and we don't necessarily have preconceived notions and, you know, history per se. So we're just ready to kind of change what that means.
Well, yeah, you know, what I'm more taken back at, more than so that you being all female, is your youth. I mean, Megan and Emily, you're both under 30. Liz, you're only what, 45?
Actually 50.
No, I mean you're in your early 30s still, I believe. Yeah, you're still a young gal. I mean that's what I always get. I mean, I worked in a freaking video store until my late 20s, so I'm always amazed at young people who actually achieve things, you know, and do smart stuff.
The smart things.
Yeah, smart stuff. You know, at a young age, and accomplish things. So, I mean, I'm really that's the stuff that I'm always, you know, kind of gets me. So that's cool, and it kind of goes to your point. So, as you say, did you call it zero generation?
Yeah, zero generation distillers.
Is that the new thing after Generation Z or Generation X or whatever? Zero generation. But yeah, I like that, because you do not have a lot of preconceived notions of what should be. You have kind of in a way, almost a clean slate of, hey, we can do this, we can do that. You know,
what if we try it this way? What if?
Yeah. From an operations perspective, it's great because you don't hear we've always done it that way. We don't want to change it because there's no way that we've always done it. We're just doing everything new always. So it makes it easy from that perspective.
And also, too, Meg, from you coming from the cider world, what do you see, you know, coming from there? Do you see bringing anything from that world into the whiskey world that you think would work?
I think on the cider side, what was really interesting for me and kind of got me more into blending was when I went into the cider side of it. I worked a lot more on kind of like the blending of the different types of apples and what kind of finishes you can do with cider as well. So that kind of got me more into the blending side instead of the quality side, or instead of the distillation side. So I've done a lot of different finishes, which I think super cool on both sides. I've done cider finished in bourbon barrels. I've done rye finished in cider barrels. So kind of overlapping the worlds that way a little bit has been a lot of fun. We also did a project with a local cidery here and released a cider with them in Virgins that was their cider finished in our barrels. So that was cool to be able to work with them. And I kind of went through the recipes with them a little bit, and to be able to use the knowledge from before WhistlePig was cool. So,
and now here's a question for all three of you, because this is something I asked 4 or 5 years ago when I was up there, and it's something I know Lou was alluding to. Lou had a couple of questions, and some I'm still wondering. Moving forward, you guys you obviously distill whiskey, because Emily, you're distilling there. Yeah, hello. But you're still also vatting whiskey, your own, along with sourced whiskey. You're still sourcing whiskey from Alberta?
So we are sourcing whiskey from Canada. We're not legally allowed to name distilleries. of where we're sourcing from.
Gotcha. Yeah.
But
Secret safe with me.
but we do most of our products are products of Canada. It says it on the back of the bottle at this point, right? We're an 11-year-old company. So for us to sell a 12-year-old would be some time travel, really impressive time traveling going on. Mm-hmm. So we do have a lot of sourced whiskey, but as the years go on, we'll start to kind of be able to use our own. Emily and the distillery have been running here for 6 years now. So we get to kind of start to envelope our own whiskey in, which is going to be a lot of fun.
But I mean, so eventually you will have your own. You'll put out exclusively your own.
Yeah, so we actually did that for the first time last year. Beyond Bonded was the name of it. There was about 40 barrels released. That was 100% the farm. So it was a really cool project. We allowed people to really dig into it. I think every barrel had 30 points of information on it, like what temperature, what it came off the still at in terms of proof, what field it was coming from. So we really allowed people to dig into those barrels and what that liquid was, which was a really cool and also fun from mine and Emily's side, both digging back through the paperwork and
seeing how procedures have changed and seeing what they were thinking at the time. So.
And would you pull from anywhere else? I mean, there at the time, well, again, this was like four or 5 years ago, they were pulling from MGP as well, and a few others. There was a couple other distilleries that they had reached out to.
We definitely have inventory coming from multiple places for sure. Yeah.
All right. I don't know if am I stepping on toes here, Liz? You let me know.
I'm gonna be Lou real quick. And Lou, I apologize ahead of time. I know you're watching, so I hope I can be a good Lou.
I'm going to ask Lou's questions if that's what you're worried about. I'm going to ask Lou's questions.
Okay. Should I?
I'm going to ask Lou's questions? Because you're an interviewee now. You're not an interviewer anymore, Liz.
But I'm trying
to Lou's spot.
To play Lou.
Now I called you Lou. Huh?
Here's
a Lou question.
Okay, great. Go for it.
All right, I'm going to ask it. I want to know a lot more about the farm.
Yes, let's talk about the farm.
What's being grown? Where are you getting the rest of your grain? What kind of farming are you doing?
Lou, that's a fantastic question. Thank you so much for asking. Emily, do you want to take that one?
Yeah, I can take that one. I handle a lot of the farming stuff because the farm obviously feeds right into the distillery. So we've planted a lot of different heirloom rye in the past. We've planted Rifle, Remington, and Danko.
Danko.
Previous year was Danko rye. It's a milling rye. So it's a lot hardier in terms of like berry size. I know you guys don't really care about that, but I thought it was cool. So we plant rye, we plant different varietals of wheat, including the winter wheat. We plant barley. We planted a fall or winter barley this year, which actually turned out to be great because I guess a lot of barley crops failed this year, but ours did not, which was good for us. And then we also plant corn. So plant all of our lands to a bunch of different crops, put it in our silos, and then make whiskey out of it. So, yeah.
I remember seeing the field. But how many acres do you guys have?
Thank you. See?
What?
We're just like on the same wavelength.
Yeah, so 250 acres of land, like plantable land here. We also have like wooded area as well.
So our farm is 500 acres total, but 250 of that are plantable, farmable land.
Yeah, the rest of it is, the buildings as well as wooded area. And
you guys still have that little meditation hut? What do you call it?
No, we don't have a meditation hut. We have a sugar shack though, which is pretty cool because we sugar.
Male strip joint?
Yeah, no, it's for maple. We're in Vermont. Maple sugaring, yeah.
We could have got Rick Edwards back here.
I know. I was like, that was last week, Marty. Like,
all right, here's another Lou question. This is for all three of you. Can we put something to rest? There are some guys out there on the internet who claim that the brewery tanks, and still at WP are undersized, and that there's no real plan to make all WP whiskey there. See, this is kind of going back to what I said already.
Yeah.
Just enough to entice people while buying in most of it from Canada. True? Not true? Some true.
I mean, we'll definitely our production here is not big enough to sustain our volume. We definitely have plans to start to envelope in our own whiskey, like we said. Beyond Bonded released last year, and we have some more plans coming up as the whiskey is getting to the older age. But I do think we'll always have to source as well. So I think it's going to be a combination for us for forever from here on out, in my opinion, at least.
Well, you guys have grown. I mean, how many case brand are you guys now?
Yeah. So last year we hit 120 9 liter, 120,000 9 liter.
120,000, yeah, not 120.
Just 120 cases.
Yeah.
120,000 9 liter cases last year. So
Yeah.
we got that 100K last year was a big.
And that's including all. I mean, you have I always would run across the top end stuff. I got to taste too when I was down there. I was when the all those Boss Hogs were coming out, and those were a little above my pay grade. They're a little pricey.
Little pricey, super special.
Yeah. And are you still doing those?
Yeah, we are. Yep. So we normally release we release a Boss Hog once a year, normally.
Is that what you guys sent me? Is that the bottle I got? That's not arriving until 1:30.
no, we did not send that to you today.
So much for having a co-host,
an inside person.
Yeah.
All right, Lou has a question here that I was curious about. What? That's what I'm getting?
Farm stock rye. Yeah.
All right, sweet. Ooh, nice big bottle. That size bottle too? Or you send me one of those little 50 mLs?
No, big bottles. I'll hook
All
you
right.
up.
All right, here. This is something I was curious about that Lou did. Another Lou question. And he had teak.
Do you have questions, Marty?
Yeah, I have questions. I put all my questions here. You want a question for me?
Yeah, let's get a Marty special.
Questions.
Let's get a Marty special in.
All right, here. Oh well, here's one. I was I always associated because I used to go to all the whiskey shows, and I'd always see the late Dave Pickerel at the whiskey shows, and he was always at the WhistlePig stands, right? The booths.
Yeah.
And actually, one of the funniest. I have it somewhere. I was gonna try to find it for this. There's a picture of Dave. I took at Tales of the Cocktail one year down at New Orleans, where he was promoting the Boss Hog, and so he showed up. He was wearing a complete white outfit, right, with a white brim hat, and he has the white frock coat. And he's wearing white shoes and white pants. The only thing is, Dave had that big old belly, and it made the pants go all the way down that it looked like his legs were only about this long. And so he looked more like Yosemite Sam from the Bugs Bunny cartoons than he did Boss Hog. So he's standing there in the middle of the lobby, and I got this picture of him without him noticing. And I just thought it was the funniest little photo. And I thought, he's more like a very, like Yosemite Sam if he was trying to be a really good guy, as opposed to Boss Hog. But anyways, that's what the picture. Something like, I'm sorry, my question was, how has the whiskey changed since its inception with Dave Pickerel? Since Dave was very instrumental in and getting is there and are there anybody is there anybody still involved since the Dave Pickerel days, or has the whiskey evolved any since then? I mean, obviously, I don't know how much Dave more involved in the vatting of the sourced whiskey, or how much was he involved with the beginning of the distilled whiskey?
If you want to talk about
yeah,
the blending
so
portion.
He obviously is instrumental in terms of WhistlePig in general. He picked out those first batches of rye that we used in our tenure, and he'll continue to live throughout WhistlePig because of those sourcings that he did. Right, those batches still exist. So definitely will continue to live on in the WhistlePig world. I think another big thing, I overlapped with Dave. I got to meet him a couple times before he passed away for a couple months. He pushed innovation, right, which is something we're always pushing here. So I think that's another thing that he kind of left behind in his legacy here, is the idea that rye is a super cool drink that he wanted to present to the world and get out to the world, and how much you can really change rye with different finishings and stuff. So like 12-year was one of his babies, was one of his projects here, and showing off what different finishes can do to rye, and that innovation and that kind of spirit from Dave, I think has continued on here.
Yeah. And in the distillery, he picked out the stills, sized everything. So, I'm using that equipment every day, and he was the one that kind of gave us all of our protocols that we, have revised over time, but it's still that same spirit of innovation and progress and moving forward.
Cool. Yeah, he set all that up. Yeah, I guess that's right. That was kind of his MO. Liz, did you ever work with Dave?
Unfortunately, I didn't have that opportunity. But everyone who I've worked with and who had worked with him, definitely very good things to say about him. And unfortunately, I just never had the opportunity to work with him. And I see Brad had a comment here that said, "Miss Dave, great teacher and friend." And that's exactly what I've heard from everyone who had worked with him. Just unfortunately, I didn't get to have that experience.
Yeah, he was a great character in the industry. Well, you know what? Let's switch a little bit, since it is your day, Missy. Big day for the young Liz Rhoades. Let's put a little spotlight on Liz Rhoades. Will, can we put a spotlight?
Oh boy.
There you go.
And I see Pete had a question. So, hey Pete, thanks for joining. Pete and Savannah.
Pete.
Hey.
Hi, Pete.
He asked if I was in Rycroft, and you know it, bud.
Yeah, look, you got Jaker Soto says congrats, Liz. Yeah. Lou says, and what meander? I don't know what that means, Lou, but thank you. Pat, I think he's talking about me. Patrick says congratulations, Liz. Tom Johnson says, does this mean I have to go through a PR flack to use Liz as a source for stories? Yeah.
I mean,
I have to. I don't know. That was even before she started working for WhistlePig.
Yeah, Tom. Let's keep the lines of communication open. Yeah, let's not halt. Let's keep it going.
Dave Gallup says, "Congrats, Liz." Oh, look, President Biden says, "Congrats, Liz." Forrest
I feel like I need
Johnson
one of those
Liz.
fancy waves. The elbow, wrist action.
All right, young Misty, Ms. Rhoades, Rocky Rhoades, as Megan and wait a minute. Here's my questions. Yeah, you should always call Liz Rocky. That's her new nickname. Yeah. So what attracted you, Liz, to WhistlePig?
Thanks,
Was
Marty.
it the great room?
Yes,
The farm?
it's this room. That's it. That's what attracted me. No, so I know both Megan and Emily kind of shared their origin stories and their backgrounds. Obviously, I've shared mine as well. And I think you're aware, but I'm a self-proclaimed right brain scientist, right? Which means I'm driven by creativity, curiosity, and entrepreneurial spirit, and then tend to fall back on my technical chops, right, to execute the vision. And I feel like that fits in with the ethos at WhistlePig in terms of innovation and, driving those agendas, keeping curious, always kind of testing the bounds of what rye is and where it could go. And also it being, a farm myself, right? Grew up in central Illinois. So grew up in cornfields. So agriculture, literally.
Cornfields, yeah.
Yeah, literally, of
Literally.
course. So agriculture is really important to me. I think it's one of my, of course, we've talked about it on the show, and I know you're aware, but it's one of my favorite things about whiskey is that it is rooted in agriculture. And I think oftentimes people forget about that, but it's, it's really important to me. And I feel like the WhistlePig brand, that's a part of the ethos, being a farm distillery, and everything that Emily chatted about, growing crops here and rye, the different varietals, et cetera. So I think that it was a natural fit for me.
Now, do the three of you, there's the farmhouse there. Do the three of you stay at the farmhouse when you're working? That would be kind of cool.
I do.
At the end of the day, you go have dinner in the farmhouse, you go hang out, but then, you don't want to talk about work all day.
Then you're never leaving work.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Do you two live in, Emily and Megan, do you guys live in town?
I live in Virginia, so 30-minute drive.
I'm in Middlebury, so about a 15-minute drive. So it's two
Oh, wow.
of the
You guys
closest
don't
towns
even
you
live
can get
near
to.
each other then, huh?
Yep. We
Wow.
kind of live near each
close.
other. 15
Yeah.
minutes.
It's Vermont.
That's,
I guess who
that's
doesn't live
close
near
in
each other?
Vermont.
Yeah, that's pretty close in
It's as
Vermont.
close as you can get. But yeah, to your point, sometimes we do hang out and have dinners here and that kind of stuff, but we always end up going home at the end of the night.
Yeah.
Does Liz have to sit at the head of the table now?
No,
No.
absolutely not.
I think we could institute that
We
rule.
could institute that role, yeah. If really
We think it's, yeah, for sure.
Everybody has to stand when she walks into the room, and
No, absolutely
have to
not.
sit when she
I'll
sits.
start doing that.
From
That's a
now
good
on,
idea.
obviously.
No, but but I think that's the cool thing too about WhistlePig is that we're not that formal, right? Like we're
Not
And we're
yet.
original today.
We're in,
Wait till
Yeah.
Liz starts setting down the rules. Boom.
we can't be formal. The chances our car gets stuck and we have to push it out on the way into work is like pretty
It's
large.
pretty high, yeah.
I'm telling you, ladies, wait till you get the rules of the roads. That's what they call it. She starts
Oh,
laying them down.
I
I
like
see
it.
I see what you did there. Yeah.
All right, Lizard, here's another one for you. Describe your role within the team. All right.
That's
Emily,
a pretty
Meg,
that's a
listen to
pretty
this.
heavy one. Yeah, so kind of mentioned my title, director of whiskey ops and R&D, but it's kind of wearing a couple different hats, and I think that's what what a lot of folks at the distillery, we wear different hats at different times. But yeah, essentially, my role will be quality focused, of course, innovation focused. And like I said, as a company, we're innovation focused. So there's certainly a lens of innovation, a little bit on production side as well. And then, brand. So it's kind of, again, like grabbing different hats at different times where it makes sense and where it's fit for purpose.
And who orders the branded glassware?
I know Liz has got her Glencairn there.
All right. All right. Another question for hair director. That's what you have to call her, ladies, from now on. Hair director.
Well, we're going with Rocky.
Rocky.
And Rocky. Well, that's if she lets you.
Again, we wear different hats. Like I said, like we
Rocky, our director.
Now here's one. What vision? Okay. What vision are you bringing to WhistlePig, Liz? Take the glasses off, put them back on. And what vision are you bringing to WhistlePig? Pushing boundaries, but also, why were you able?
Really, Marty?
Were you able to? Why were you able to? What's that mean? Yeah. What vision are you bringing to WhistlePig?
Yeah, so I think a lot of us, right, we have different backgrounds. Obviously, Emily with experience in Kentucky and in the bourbon industry, Megan with cider. A lot of the guys on the team are coming from, brewing backgrounds, which I relate to, right? So I started my career in beer, and I think, a lot of us are coming in with different mindsets, and it's nice to kind of have that. Different backgrounds, again, to like push the envelope of what's possible. And I know, Megan, kind of what you were talking about earlier with your experience in cider, and how does that, how do we bring that in the fold? Again, it's back to the zero generation distillers, and we're just all really excited to innovate and play in that space and see what's possible. So, certainly that's kind of where I'm coming from. Obviously have background at a tiny little mom and pop shop known as Diageo. But
oh yeah, I forgot to warn you, you two, Emily and Megan, stay away. Don't stand too close to Liz, especially if you see a red dot on her forehead.
Okay.
That's the Diageo hit squad.
Trigger.
Because they're always waiting for her to reveal top secrets, and then.
Okay, we'll stay away. Thank you for the.
We'll try and warn her if we see the red dot coming.
If you,
it will be too late. If you see the red dot, it's too late. So that's a problem. Yes, stand back.
That being said, I have a lot of secrets I hold. Obviously, being out in, as a freelancer and the consultant world the past 2 and change years, I've got a lot of different experience, and I've got a lot of secrets, but a lot of things to share as well.
Yeah. So if you guys do stay over in the farmhouse and she's sleeping in the bedrooms, put a little recorder by her bed, because she talks in her sleep, and she will reveal most of those secrets in her sleep.
Yeah.
Bullet, it's all made from Brown Foreman. It's Brown Foreman. Stuff like that. Mm-hmm. All right. So what are some of the...
Yeah, what other questions do you have? I know
I have one more question for you, Liz. Then we're going back to the real important.
Let's get back. Yeah,
people.
I want to get back to the meat and potatoes here.
Yeah,
which is Megan and Emily. Much more interesting conversation.
But there's one more really important question for you. What are some of the initial projects you're most excited to get involved in?
Well, yeah, so I guess, I'll probably flip that back over to Megan and Emily, but I think you had maybe a question on one of our newest launches.
Yes, I did.
Around the non-elk that just launched. So I was really excited to be on that project.
Were you part of that?
Mm-hmm.
The non-alcoholic rye? What's that all about? How'd you guys do that? And how the hell is that a whiskey if there's no booze in it? How is that not just water?
So obviously, from a technical perspective, there's a lot of other constituents in whiskey outside of just ethanol, right? Tannins, for example. Exactly. So for the non-alc project, that's something that we kind of worked on, and we basically did vacuum distillation on our 6-year rye to specifically just remove the ethanol. And what we're left over is a lot of interesting other compounds, such as tannins, esters, that sort of thing. And then that's essentially we dealkalized our 6-year rye and then added some other compounds in there to bolster flavor, aroma, mouthfeel, and color. And
you added like what? What did you add? Prohibition flavoring agents?
No, absolutely not. But we added things like we did add in some oak extract. So again, to kind of mimic the mouthfeel, color. There's some caramel coloring and that sort of thing. So so super excited to work on that project with the team. But I know there's much more exciting things in the pipeline in the future. So I don't know, Megan or Emily, if you want to talk about anything specifically.
Yeah, is there anything else, ladies, that's coming up that you're kind of excited about?
I'm excited again for this year's releases of Beyond Bonded. So we're going to do another set of barrels that are 100% WhistlePig liquid. So that's going to be really exciting to continue to kind of show off to the world what we're doing here in the distillery. The team here is also pushed to do innovation on the front end.
Yeah, that's what I'm excited about is, I guess it's, what am I making this year? Beyond Bonded 2026. That's what I'm excited about for this year is the future whiskey. We planted all our grain last season. I got my farming plan down, and now I got to backtrack and figure out, feed it into exactly what I'm going to make this year that's innovative and cool. And you guys can taste in like 4 years minimum. So
4 years?
Well, yeah, it's got to be bonded.
Yeah, I just had a birthday. I'm going to be really old in 4 years. My doctor probably won't allow me to drink in 4 years.
Do it anyway.
That's why you got to get the non-alc.
Yeah, that's what the non-alc is for.
Oh, great. Drink whiskey flavored water. What is that?
It's just delicious whiskey that doesn't have alcohol in it.
I gotta taste that. That is
yes.
That seems that boggles my little head. That doesn't make sense to me. Here now, I was about to ask this, and I don't know. I think you redirected me, but this was one of Lou's questions, and this was the one with capital letters and a lot of exclamation points and question marks. Teak! Lou asks and yells at the same time. Who the hell came up with that? And what other tropical woods might be in store? Dogfish Head uses Palo Santo for aging beer. Has anyone done whiskey in it?
I love the Lou voice. So we're always looking at different types of barrels, different types of wood, what's going to add to that rye, that innovation side of it. So Boss Hog 7, we had actually found that teak wood a couple of years prior in what we call our single finish program. It's a 12-year-old whiskey, and it basically, we just try barrels, see what happens. They joke here, I'll put any whiskey in a barrel at least once to see what's going to happen. I do about 40 to 50 of those barrels a year, and sometimes something really special pops up, and we'll kind of put it in our back pocket to show up a couple years later in the Boss Hogs. So the other part of Boss Hog 7 was a Spanish oak, which was also super unique in the whiskey world. Emily actually sourced those barrels, and it was a bit of a struggle because the cooper out there
didn't want to give me the barrels. He didn't want to make the barrels, was what it was. That wood is notoriously difficult to work with and kind of leaky. It doesn't have the bonding agent that American oak has. So he gave it to us, and his last words to me were, I really hope you don't put anything expensive in this. So naturally, we put our most expensive whiskey in it.
Boss Hog.
Boss Hog. And then, we continued the journey with Boss Hog 8 with the rum finishes, which was really cool.
So we used some relatively high-aged rum for Boss Hog 8. So a 10-year-old rum barrel, which you don't see too often. That gave some great and awesome flavors on that. So that journey and looking for those different barrels and what's unique and cool and got to be the best finish out there is kind of is something we're doing every day here for sure.
Yeah.
I tell anyone who ever will ever listen, if you're playing around with barrels, try the Hungarian Tokai barrels from the Tokai forests in Hungary. They're fascinating. What's the matter, Liz?
Remember, we talked about this. We've already done that. You
guys did?
Yeah.
I don't recall episodes. What do you think? I have a lot of things on my mind, Liz. Did it work?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, good. All right. Well, yeah. So I'm just throwing that out there. Did you do it because I told you to?
I don't think so, but we'll take it into consideration
just
next time.
Tell people you do because I told you to.
Yeah, sure, not a problem. Yeah,
and
brokers all the time.
Lou is chiming in. I don't get the idea of alcoholic spirits either. So there, from his deathbed, Lou is reaching out and saying he doesn't get it either. No, but that's all right.
I think no, but it's a good like I appreciate the comment, but it's just like not every whiskey is for everyone, right?
No, I know. But Lou won't eat cereal if it doesn't have booze on it. So
realizing it's not for everyone, but again, I think
I'm actually curious. I am curious. I would like to try it. Send me some.
Okay. We'll get on it.
I'm curious. It's just I've tried that. You've tried. You try that stuff that's. What's that stuff? It's supposed to. It's the non-alcoholic stuff that. Yeah, it's like non-alcoholic gin. And then you go, it tastes like water with botanicals in it. Tastes like the water you get in the hotel lobbies.
I think, I think the special thing here is that it's not just.
I know.
It doesn't just taste like anything. It tastes like piggyback. So it's.
I know. I'm giving you a hard time, little lizard. I'm sure because you three are involved, it's delicious. In fact, it's more than delicious. It's
That's right.
supercalifragilisticexpialidocious delicious. All right, here, let's see what else is on here. The question I always had, I don't know if the three of you, you're all production, but maybe you've heard in meetings, but the grounds there are beautiful. That whole setup is just idyllic, and the way the still house is all set up, basically it's a big barn, if I remember correctly, and it's signs, and it's all set up like it was for visitors, and it's not.
No, it's not for visitors. We do have guests on the farm. So
but, mostly what prep, right?
Come out and they can stay, and like you've been to the farm. So we bring out special guests to the farm and have them through. But yeah, there's no plan of opening it up to the public.
Wow.
Where it's just how we're zoned. We're literally zoned as a farm.
Zoned
So-
agriculturally, not
Yeah.
commercially, so we can't be open to the public for tours and stuff here.
Oh.
So we've actually set up 2 different tasting rooms in Vermont, though, so people can go and have the experience or have an experience. So there's one up in Stowe, and then a tasting room down in Quechee as well to go and be able to taste through our products.
Why not one in Burlington? Is that the major city in Vermont?
Yeah, and I think there were talks about it and stuff, but Stowe is like 45 minutes from Burlington, a big tourist location as well.
Yeah. And Quechee is our partners at Simon Pierce.
Liz, now that you're in a position of great power, don't you think there should be you should organize a fact-finding tour for myself and Lou to come out there for like a 4-day jaunt with
We're gonna
meals and go into that. You sure that little meditation hut isn't out in the woods
Well,
anymore?
I'm super sure that's gone.
Yep, absolutely positive about
We've
that.
got axe throwing though. Do you like axe throwing?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, we can light it on
That's
fire. with a white
meditative.
cloth.
Is the golf cart still around?
It's not a golf cart. We've got a gator though.
But it broke last
although
weekend.
it did break last week.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be fixed by the time
No,
Lou
we'll
and
get
I are
it
out
fixed
there.
for you. It'll be good.
Don't you think that's a good idea, Liz?
We'll do a scavenger hunt for you throughout the property.
Yeah.
Because Lou can write a story about the whole place, and I can vouch for it.
I always bring.
It's a little warmer.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah, of course. I don't mind it.
always
Actually,
bring
I'd
my
love to see
mat.
Vermont in the cold, or even next fall. I love the Northeast in the fall.
So pretty in the fall.
The colors changing.
Yeah.
Plus, I'm like you, Emily. I love flannels.
Yeah,
I'm all
flannels
about
are
the
great.
flannel. I'm all about the flannels. All right. So, another Lou question. Well, this is a good question.
You sound surprised.
What's the matter?
You sounded surprised that it was a good question.
Well, it's a Lou question, and I mean Lou, he's a professional question asker, so it should be a good question. But I was just, what kind of warehousing for the barrels? Altitude, climate, heated. I mean, because you do get a good climate change up there. You got nice warm. They're warm summers, not super duper hot, but they're good summers. And then obviously pretty cold winters.
Yeah,
nice snowy winters.
We still have that big temperature fluctuation like you're talking about, but it kind of just moved down 20 degrees on the scale, right? Compared to Kentucky, our summers don't get as hot, but our winters get much colder. So you kind of just take that fluctuation and move it down about 20 degrees on the scale for us.
Yeah.
So you guys don't alter it at all in the warehouse?
No, we put things in the warehouse and then we just keep it there.
Close the doors and come back in 6 years.
Close the doors, come back to it.
And do you vary barrel size at all?
We do vary barrel size a little bit. We've had hogshead barrels. We've got a lot of the 53-gallon standard ones. We have varied toast and char profiles. We've played around with that quite a lot, actually, just to try to identify a good mix to make our product. And then, I think we even have a few larger, I've got like 8 truckloads of larger scale barrels coming in this year, just more variety.
This is a lot of fun. I mean, there's a lot of experimentation.
Oh yeah,
no. yeah.
Experimentation is constant here. That's just the name of the game.
I feel like people come up with ideas and like, sure, we'll try it. Why not? I feel like that's kind of our
Well, Liz, did you ever have this either at Diageo or with any of the distilleries that you consulted with? Is this is this
Yes
pretty
and no,
common, or is this pretty above average?
I would say it is above average, and that's, you know, again, like, we're super innovative and really excited just to like test the bounds of what, you know, rye whiskey is about. And again, like, I think that's one of the cool things about WhistlePig, and that the way we show up differently is because we're super innovative and experimental.
What would be the weirdest thing you guys would want to do?
Want to do or have done?
I really want to make a dunder pet.
Oh,
I've been a little bit set on this one. I don't know how I'm going to do it yet, but I think that's going to be my goal this year for an innovative product coming forward. Is
you say a dunderhead?
A dunder
pit.
Yeah, a muck pit,
Oh,
like a rum muck pit. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to figure it out.
I'm going to do it.
That's my weird idea for the year. Throwing it out there, hoping that Liz and Megan agree with me.
First, I thought you said dunderhead, which is what my dad used to call me.
Oh, okay.
Old dunderhead. That sounds like so much fun. Plus, you're up in Vermont. Vermont's so pretty. You can get the nice Christmas cards from Vermont. Oh, can you guys send me Christmas cards from Vermont?
We do, yeah, Christmas cards.
Yeah,
Sure.
we can do Christmas cards.
Yeah, I would love Christmas cards from Vermont.
We can do that.
They're always so pretty. The old ones.
The old ones.
Find the old ones. The
Okay.
old ones, like
Christmas
with the
cards,
sled. Do you guys, did you get a lot of snow around Christmas, and did you go around in horse-drawn sleighs?
Didn't go around on horse-drawn sleighs, but we've got a lot of snow outside right now.
What
Have
the
you ever
heck?
seen-
What were you sure you were in Vermont?
What? Sorry, Megan just said there's a garbage company in Middlebury that picks up the garbage on
Yeah.
site.
On horse drawn.
That's right.
Yeah. That's how we don't have garbage trucks. We have horses.
See? Oh, man, that's cool. That's great. Phil Albee. Hey, Phil Albee. That's not a playwright, is it? Oh, that's Edward Albee. Sorry. Spirit-free cocktails is a growing category. Oh, thanks, Julia Momos. She's from Chicago, yeah, for coining that new category name. Yeah. So that's true. Well, that's right. Well, spirit-free, that's right. Isn't a mocktails? Mocktails for quite some time as well. I know, but I don't know. I'm just saying, you take alcohol out of stuff that had alcohol in it. I don't know. It just seems like you're having a dance party and you take the music out of it.
It's all right if it's not for you.
All right, go into a room, watch a bunch of people dancing with no music, and see what happens.
I mean, I would be entertained.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think that's like interpretive dancing, right?
All right, so what do you see for the future of WhistlePig?
Yeah.
Do you see it growing? Do you see, I mean, do you see
Yes.
great growth, or would you like to see it kind of maintain? So because, I mean, obviously if you grow, that means more money coming in, maybe a little more experimentation, but then, you know, maybe then you also have the long fingers of corporate interference. Mm-hmm. Right now you're up in Vermont.
That hasn't happened yet.
I mean, we've
Not yet.
been growing at a really.
Liz will tell you.
We've been growing at a relatively large pace here for the past 5 or 6 years. We'll continue to grow. We actually have a new brand that we launched, Limavady. Super exciting. So our first Irish whiskey that we did.
Oh yeah. Talk about that. That's right. I'm sorry, we forgot about that.
Okay. Yeah. So we partnered up with Daryl, who is the CEO of Limavady, who worked at Bushmills for a long time.
16 years, I believe. Daryl McNally, yes.
And we released a single malt Irish whiskey finished in sherry barrels that is delicious. So we're super excited to be on WhistlePig, but to be expanding some other brands and getting other brands out there as well.
We also launched, actually Liz had a huge hand in launching our RTD cocktails. We've got canned cocktails in the market now. So
Yeah, so that right now is in a total of 6 states, but hoping to push that and continue to grow our RTDs throughout this year. So we're really excited to get that out into more and more people's hands.
Yeah.
See, now
So a lot of growth on the horizon. That's what you can
we knew
expect.
that you were going up there a lot because, well, we kept on noticing WhistlePig like behind your shoulder and stuff. But
Casually.
yeah,
Casual WhistlePig plugs everywhere.
but we didn't know that you were doing all this stuff. How involved you were. Like what are these ready to drinks that you did?
Yeah, I mean, you can, if you want to grab them. There's 3 different SKUs. And Megan, again, I think you mentioned the test markets. They're not a full launch. They're not nationwide. But it's basically a citrus mint, a ginger lime, and a raspberry lemon offering.
Obviously all whiskey based.
Correct.
Got one. It's real pretty.
Can out in the market.
Oh wow, they're good size cans too. I mean, they're like what 12 ounce?
The 12 ounce.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
And
So
what I'm sorry, what was the name on them? That say WhistlePig, or they'd say
Yeah, the WhistlePig piggyback.
Piggyback.
Kind of that brand. So to go with our 6-year kind of, the labels kind of match that line.
Wow, look at this.
So
You were busy.
Casually busy. That's my motto. But yeah, like just reiterating, right? Like definitely a lot of growth is, that's what we're about. And so, whether it's stuff like the RTD or the non-alc, we're again, just kind of, like I said, hungry and ready to take on the world one sip at a time.
Wow. But now even though you have this great responsibility upon your shoulders, you're still going to continue on doing some consulting on the side.
Yeah, exactly. On the side,
I don't know how you're going to pull that off, young lady. It's just
casually busy.
You have a large responsibility of the WhistlePig. By the way, where did WhistlePig come from, the name?
So out west, a WhistlePig is like a groundhog, like in Colorado.
That's a real creature?
That's just what they call groundhogs. They just, so
really?
Somebody had heard that term, and someone from the East Coast had heard that term and thought it was weird.
There is.
And it kind of stuck in their head. So when names were initially being thrown around for what they wanted to call this, that it came up. So it's just a word they heard one time that kind of just stuck in their head.
And now we have pigs as our mascot, even though it's technically a groundhog.
Yeah, I know. That's what threw me off.
Yep.
I thought it was going to be a whistle for pigs. Like there's a whistle for dogs.
Like a dog call?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, our pigs just come to normal commands. So
Yeah.
our pigs know sit. They know like shake. They used to know how to stand up, but they've gotten a little chunky.
They're a little overweight right now.
They're a little overweight right now, so you can't really get them
They've
to do
got
that.
their winter bod.
Yeah.
What do you do with your pigs?
They're just our pets. They hang
They're
out.
our pets, yeah.
It was middle of COVID. Me and Emily got a little lonely and bored when no one was coming to the distillery. So we drove 4 hours to a farm in New York and picked up pigs, threw them in the back of my car, brought them back.
Yep.
They lived in the distillery for the first 3 months of their lives.
We taught them all their commands. They're, house trained, all that jazz. So yeah.
Are they little pigs? Or do they grow
No,
to be
they're
really big?
pretty big. I mean, they're little comparative to pigs.
Liz's first day, we made her go up there and feed them and pet them
Oh,
and hang out with them.
that's
Yeah, they're
right.
like 250 pounds.
That's right. They're at the front of the farm. That's right. I saw them. They're right.
In the pig
They're
pen?
To be, yeah.
They used to be. Now we've got a bigger pen for them back up toward the wooded area.
That's right. I
Yeah.
remember seeing them. That's right. The pigs.
Um,
Wow.
So we had I think, again, like a number of comments. Thank you, everyone, for the congratulations. Definitely. I'm obviously excited for the next chapter, and it's going to be, if this conversation was any indication of what's in store for the future for WhistlePig, yeah, it's definitely there's a lot on the horizon, and I'm excited to be a part of the team. So thank you for all the congrats. And yeah, Monique,
Yeah,
Marty.
yeah. Monique, I have 5 sisters, so I'm not outnumbered. This isn't the first time I've been outnumbered by beautiful ladies. Got 5 sisters. I'm used to being
She
trapped.
said talented though, Marty.
Oh, ouch! Oh,
Excuse me.
You're right. My sisters are not talented.
No. That's not what I meant. I meant
wow.
the comment. The comment wasn't beautiful. It was talented, and I wanted to just call that out because
they are talented. Well, I mentioned that they're talented. Way talented than I was at their age. That's for sure.
But yeah, so
smarter, more
should
talented.
we? Phil also said if she tells the secret, she'll have to kill us. Sounds about right. Brad said chemist all the way, of course. Go science. Marty, do you want to tee up who we have for next week? Is it about that time?
So next week we have Alex Castle, all the way from Fort Hamilton Distillery in Brooklyn. A British fella. Over in Brooklyn. Go figure. But he'll be joining us, talking about his whiskey and his wonderful, really cool little distillery with that he and his wife started. So we'll be talking about that. I don't know if Lewis will be joining us. He's talking about groundhogs himself. It looks like I think he's delirious. I think he might have OD'd on some of the medication. Yeah.
Lou, you were sorely missed today. I hope you're on the mend.
You were missed sorely. Yes.
Yeah, we're hoping we have you back on next week, and that you're feeling much better. But thanks everyone for joining. Like I said, this is a special one for me, so really appreciate everyone joining on today.
Ladies, thank you all very much. Liz Rhoades, congratulations on the big announcement.
I see what you did there. I see what you did.
Together. The 3 of you go enjoy. I sent you a big Liz Rhoades cake. It's 5 layers high. All made
it's bigger than me.
Different forms of rocky gravel that are made from Rhoades. So go enjoy that. I'm going to go enjoy some WhistlePig whiskey that should be arriving at my doorstep any moment now. And then we'll see you, Liz, next week. Lewis, maybe we'll see you next week. I don't know, maybe not. Lou is mysterious. But everyone else, sayonara.
Yeah. Thanks everyone for joining.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Cheers, guys.
Stay warm.
Deep City.